selling you the inclusive groupness.
Yes, and that's brings us to our the question we got from my friend Steve, which is Planet of the Apes a franchise? And the Planet of the Apes property taken as a whole, is it a franchise? And certainly, if you're using the term loosely, then yeah, I wouldn't really correct somebody for calling it a franchise. But here at Intensely Casual, we use franchise to specifically mean that the business isn't just selling you a product, it's selling you membership implicitly in some sort of community.
A lifestyle.
And importantly, a recognizable community, right?
Yeah.
So,
like you're like in sports, you're a Wolverine fan, you're a Spartan, you're here in Michigan, those are Michigan ones, but like
Tigers fan, Lions fan, right?
Yeah.
And a key aspect of franchises, of course, is that's very hard to transfer your loyalty to something else, right? It's very hard for a Lions fan to switch to being a fan. The Lions are terrible, right?
Yeah.
Historically, one of the worst teams in all of sporting history. But you can't. Why are there still Lions fans? Well, because they're not just trying to watch a team win. It's about having a shared experience.
Right.
And your friends that you're connected to and family and traditions that you're connected to through a sports team can't be transferred to another team.
Right.
So answer the question whether or not Planet of the Apes is a franchise, for our purposes, I say it isn't. And here's why. Because if I say to you someone is a Star Wars fan, you're going to get a picture of a Star Wars fan in your mind.
Or if you say like Trekkie.
Yes. Star Trek.
You already got something.
And not only are they going to be in different costumes, right? You're going to see them as subtly different people in your mind.
Yeah.
But if I say to you someone is a Planet of the Apes fan, I suspect that I've not communicated anything to you except that they're a Planet of the Apes fan.
They could be in who knows what country like that. I couldn't imagine what that would be.
Yeah. I mean, people do enjoy it, but there's no stereotype in your head, right?
Right.
And I think it's because it actually lacks one of the most important aspects of a franchise, which is you need either a founder or an early central heroic figure for the franchise for people to sort of unify around. Like George Lucas in the case of Star Wars.
You mean Charleston Heston isn't?
No, because I think he's only in I think he's in one and then maybe like part
First
of the
and
second.
second. Yep.
Yeah, he's not really in the second very much at all. Yeah, so it lacks. There's no chief creator like a J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter.
Right.
Gene Roddenberry with Star Trek. George Lucas with Star Wars. And again, but it doesn't have to be a founder, right? So like the sort of quintessential hero of the Red Wings hockey team in Detroit is Gordie Howe. That guy is so important to Detroit that they're naming the new international crossing after him. In Transformers, you might say there's no founding figure. Optimus Prime, and to some extent Megatron and their relationship.
Bumblebee lately.
Well, somewhat. They're trying to make a thing of him, but like it really is Optimus Prime. That's like why? Because here's the thing: they didn't kill Bumblebee in the animated The Transformers the movie,
Right.
And Transformers still died. It's because they killed Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The movie died.
That's why because you can do a Bumblebee movie separate from Transformers, but I'm not sure you could ever do Transformers separate from Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
You'd be taking a huge risk. So that is my take on Planet of the Apes, and honestly, you could say. By the way, you could say the same thing about the Matrix movies. Do I think they're a franchise? No. So popular, even though they have a lot of the elements you might think of as a franchise, so popular with so many people that you never. Basically, it's people have either seen it and they like it, or they've seen it and they don't, or they're really too into it.
Yeah.
But you don't think of it as like there's no community of people who love the franchise that as such that you. How can I put this? People dressed up like they're in the Matrix, but that was just the fashion for a while after the Matrix, right?
You wouldn't consider yourself any sort of personal type or belief structure or anything like that.
Yeah. And again, it's not to say there aren't groups around it, but there's just not enough of, how can I put this? Because franchise is a way of identifying strangers as being one of the tribe, right? And I suspect that the really hardcore Matrix people probably just all know each other. Like it's
and they probably haven't like progressed. Like Star Trek and Star Wars fans, and
Well, yeah, I mean they haven't been
They
making
can-
product,
yeah, they haven't been making product.
and when they have it, it was pretty bad.
Like the fourth one wasn't even like opportunity for more
No, it was
merch
more like
or anything.
it was almost like we regret having to do this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something they almost literally say in the movie.
it being a little too meta.
Yeah. So, Planet of the Apes not a franchise, but hopefully this gives you an idea of what we mean by a franchise story. And of course, why franchise stories are so important is because the story makers tend to assume that the audience must consume the content.
That we owe them something.
Yes, and so they will tend to start creating stories that give them value rather than, beyond just making money, that do what they want rather than giving you what you want.
And you want to hear more, we go into quite a bit of detail on the Transformers commentary.
Yeah, which is that's not out yet, but it in the near future, in the next little while.